He may not be on the national most wanted list, Interpol's most wanted list, or covered in many news stories across the country, but that does not make him any less important. For years on end, he remained an unknown figure. Then all of a sudden, he was a key player in the upper echelon of the coke business as he started working together with the Netherlands' most wanted criminal. Together, they would bring in thousands of kilos, and they also had one thing in common: they did not hesitate to use violence. But what started off as a business relationship apparently took a drastic turn for the worst. This is the story of Isaac Bom B. Isaac B, alias Bom, was born on the 2nd of February 1994 in Ghana. As a young boy, he moved from Ghana to the Netherlands, where he grew up in Katendrecht, Rotterdam. His nickname is Bom because of his love for bombs at a young age. Not a lot is known about Isaac's childhood. As he got older, it is alleged that he was involved in rip deals. However, he was never prosecuted for a rip deal of any sorts though. In 2018, Dutch tax authorities gained an interest into Isaac. Always dressed in luxury items and driving expensive cars, Isaac caught their eye. According to the Dutch tax authorities, his income was only around 6,000 euros a year, clearly not enough to fund such a luxurious lifestyle. He was brought to court where Dutch prosecutors accused him of money laundering, to which Isaac replied that he had gotten some money from his family here and there, and that is how he funded his lifestyle. Prosecutors did not believe anything of that and sentenced him to 3 months in jail. In the same year, Isaac was arrested again, this time for holding someone hostage in Rotterdam. Together with Urian F., he forced a man to step in his car on the 4th of June 2018. Equipped with a firearm, Isaac threatened the man and loaded his gun. He allegedly wanted to see 25,000 euros, but the kidnapping was unsuccessful. Instead of getting the money, he got a police visit and was arrested to be sentenced to 14 months in jail. After this, it went silent for some time. Then, out of nowhere, Isaac was involved in the upper echelon of the coke business, working together with a man we know very well by now, Bolle Jos. It is unclear when, how, and where Isaac met Bolle Jos exactly. What is known is that Jos knew a lot of people in the underworld and had an extensive network. Together, they would go on to bring in thousands of kilos of coke into Europe, and Isaac was deemed to be Jos's right-hand man. Police had absolutely no clue about Isaac's sudden rise in the underworld. That was at least the case until they started an investigation into a group of young men from southeast of Amsterdam who were frequently seen in expensive cars. After further investigation, it could be determined that those cars were rented from a rental company in Barendrecht that was owned by Isaac's half-brother on paper. Police said that Isaac was really the one in charge though, and that this rental company was part of his money laundering scheme. After shadowing the cars for a while, police discovered that they were frequently visiting the port of Antwerp, and to be even more specific, they visited a certain warehouse. Police knew there was something about to happen. They were right. This was around the same time a shipment of 4,200 kilos, led by Isaac, was coming in at the end of April 2020. All was well, and the shipment of 4,200 kilos hidden in a shipment of squid arrived in the port of Antwerp and was moved to the warehouse close by. A PGP message showed Isaac complimenting his corrupt contact in the port. "You are starting to be good at this, huh?" To which his corrupt contact responded, "Practice makes perfect." Which makes you wonder how many times they have done this before already. Now it was time to get the kilos out of there. "No normal telephones with you to the warehouse," a message read, sent by a cautious Isaac to a group chat with his associates, just so that they could not be located by their phone signal. Little did he know, there was already an entire operation set up to seize the shipment. Police managed to time their operation perfectly, and after barging into the warehouse, they arrested 9 men who were caught red-handed in the midst of distributing the coke, a serious blow to the group as they were nearly finished with the job, and it was a very big and lucrative shipment. Isaac, just like Jos, has never feared to use violence to send a message. On the 28th of August 2020, Isaac sent his men to deliver a message to rival Ali O. This was not a message of words, but something different. One of Isaac's men shot Ali's restaurant, the Pasta House in Antwerp, multiple times. A day prior, on the 27th of August, there was an attempt already, but it failed miserably. Belgian police arrested several suspicious men and upon further investigation, found a firearm in their car. PGP messages revealed that Isaac laughed about it and was not too mad. Luck was on his side, haha. "Shit, Ali. My guys were caught with a weapon yesterday. No problem. You don't sit in Belgium." They took fingerprints and released them in the morning. A day prior to the 27th, so on the 26th of August, one of Isaac's associates already sent a PGP message to an uncle of Ali O. "Salam, brother. I have respect for you like an older brother, you know that. Tell your nephew to leave me alone and my people, or else we will go in the air. He steals my bread." That last sentence is especially interesting. Upon further investigation, it was revealed that Isaac had a very important man in the port of Antwerp that was able to let containers go through. That man worked for Ali as well, which in itself is given to cause trouble sooner rather than later. Ali demanded the man to work solely for him, and thus cut off Isaac. Isaac in his turn obviously was not going to accept that, and had to take drastic measures to send a message. Further investigation into the suspects of the shooting led the police to another intriguing case they were involved in. Earlier in that same month, in the night of the 8th to the 9th of August 2020, those men had barged into the home of a dock worker. Disguised as police, they threatened the man and handed him a PGP phone. They told him that they would send him instructions on that phone on how to get out of an incoming shipment of coke out of the port. They explicitly told him that if he did not cooperate, very bad things would happen to him. This was allegedly ordered by Isaac, as the dock worker had already refused 2 times to cooperate. So now they tried it this way. From 2020, it went silent again. Nothing noteworthy happened, at least not known to public. It could be assumed that he did not remain idle and went on about his business. So did Dutch investigation services. They were steadily building a case against Isaac. It was not until the end of December 2022 that Isaac's name popped up again. He was sentenced to 12 years in prison in absentia for his partaking in a criminal organisation, money laundering of nearly 6.5 million euros, and the import of 5,700 kilos of coke. As if 12 years in the Netherlands were not enough, several months later, Isaac got sentenced again, this time in Belgium, to another 6 years in prison. It was for his involvement in the attack on his rival Ali O's The Pasta House. While that was all going on, police were simultaneously hunting down Bolle Jos. The net was closing in. Several men of Isaac's and Jos's organisation were arrested. His connection to Bolle Jos made him the man he was today. However, it would also become his downfall. As the hunt for Jos intensified, it did so for Isaac as well, as he was deemed to be a key part of the organisation. Turkish police were doing a solid job tearing down the organisation piece by piece and knew they were closing in. Then on the 25th of June 2023, out of the blue, news broke that Isaac was arrested in Isparta, a city in the southwest of Turkey. Days prior to his arrest in Isparta, Isaac already knew police were on his heels. He had created a plan to flee from Turkey via a yacht with a secret hidden compartment where he could hide in. Days before Isaac's arrest, Turkish police arrested his longtime associate Urian F. that flew in from the Netherlands to help him on the 23rd of June. On him, they found a piece of paper with text written in some sort of coded language with orders from Isaac. Police managed to decipher the message and were able to locate Isaac's hideout in Fethiye, but he was aware of the situation and had already moved to Isparta. Nevertheless, police were still able to track him down and caught him there. After his arrest, it was revealed that in all desperation, Isaac tried to bribe the police officers that arrested him. As police tried to arrest him, he asked for a phone and the bank account numbers of the officers. "I will immediately send you 4 million euros, he yelled to the officers. Unfortunately for him, the officers did not fall for it this time. And I say this time because Isaac has allegedly had some luck bribing important people to stay a free man before. In 2022, he was able to flee just in time before the Belgian police raided his hotel room in Antwerp. Not much later, right before the French police could arrest him in Paris, he fled just in time again. He then fled to Ghana, where he enjoyed protection. Then, while on the plane ready to leave to Dubai, Isaac was allegedly warned by Ghanaian customs. Apparently, an entire police squad was awaiting him at the airport in Dubai, to which Isaac obviously decided to board the plane and give them a nice cash reward. Well, his luck was bound to run out at some point though. And then the story took a totally unexpected and drastic turn of events. In the weeks after his arrest, Isaac was interrogated several times. Turkish police obviously inquired about his friend and business partner Bolle Jos. To everyone's surprise, Isaac told the detectives that him and Jos had a falling out and became each other's enemies for at least a year already. According to rumours that were swirling in the underworld, the two indeed had a conflict with each other for some time. It is unconfirmed what the exact reason for this falling out was, though many suggest it was a failed shipment. It apparently went wrong, and both men blamed each other for this failure. They went on to do business with each other and tried to salvage their business relationship, but there was already too much distrust. Dutch investigation services knew there was something brewing between the two of them as well, and expected something to happen sooner rather than later. It seemed as if it was only a matter of time before one would try to get rid of the other, which, thinking about it, is a very serious thing to say. These guys had become multimillionaires by working together, bringing in large shipments, and now they would want to get rid of each other? For now, Isaac will remain behind bars in Turkey. He has hired several lawyers in an attempt to remain incarcerated in Turkey and to avoid being extradited to either the Netherlands or Belgium. He is already sentenced in both countries and most likely will get extra time if more cases are opened. Time will tell if he is to be extradited, because he has not been charged for any crimes in Turkey thus far, so they have no reason to hold him. Bolle Jos is still being hunted down and remains to be one of the few still standing. Isaac grew rapidly from the streets of Rotterdam, but his downfall was perhaps even faster. This was his story. Thanks for watching. As always, be sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you have not already. It greatly helps the channel. See you in the next one.